So, Erev Tov, good evening, everybody. It's fabulous to see you all and to be together in one of another Selihot evening. In this case, honoring letter Chet, the 8th letter of the alphabet. I'm gonna go to uh, to to our Adon Selihot that I'm looking to see that I can find very quickly here. Yes, it is there. That is nice. And so let's see if we can sing together just as an introduction. Let's see where we are. Can you see it? I hope you are. So we are learning the second group of words. Remember, this is an acrostic, and so
But I don't think we can, I can't see it.
You cannot see it. Okay, let me try again. Let's see if this time, how's that? Is that good?
Yeah, terrific.
Excellent. So remember the refrain, the pismon. חטאנו לפניך רחם עלינו חטאנו לפניך רחם עלינו. And we begin from the letter Hey. הדור בנפלאות ותיק בנחמות זוכר ברית אבות, חוקר כליות, חטאנו לפניך, רחם עלינו, חטאנו לפניך, רחם עלינו. We are focusing tonight of this letter Chet, in this case for Adon Selihot, Choker Kelayot. What is it? As we said, that this is one of the many qualities of God, of the endless qualities of God. In this case, Choker, today in modern Hebrew, would be to be a researcher. But I think we are thinking of God not as a researcher, but as somebody that discerns kelayot, our consciousness, I would translate, and this is and how appropriate it is, because as you will hear, as I explain who Chazan Michael Kasper is, has many hats. So one of them being having a private practice in psychotherapy and psychoanalysis. He knows about consciousness for sure. And not only that, but he also taught in Hunter's College postmaster's program in clinical social work for 10 years. If that is not enough, he is also the past winner of the National Society of Arts and Letters choreographer competition. He has been the director and choreographer of the Michael Kasper's dance company for more than 10 years. He has written books, and he's also now at the Academy for Jewish Religion in New York, in Yonkers. Chazan Kasper is the Dean of Cantorial Studies and Director of Student Life and Placement, as well as a full-time senior lecturer. And more important than all of that, Chazan Michael Kasper is my very dear friend. And I have the immense honor to invite him to teach us. I'm going to spotlight you for everyone. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for accepting to teach us tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Ramon. Let me, at the outset, just set the record straight a little bit. I haven't written books, but I have written papers, and they are published. Books maybe in my future, but probably not. Anyway, Erev Tov, and really good evening and welcome, Bruchim Habayim. I want to start by thanking my dear friend, the indomitable Chazan beginning with the letter Chet, Ramon Tassad, for having the chokhmah, the wisdom, the koach, the strength, and the merits, the vigor, to put together this amazing series that will help us all to find ourselves and our place on the long journey that is Judaism, and also inside the long journey that is Elul, the month of reflection that it's really our mitzvah to engage with. And as Ramon told you, tonight we'll explore a bit about the Hebrew letter Chet, which is the 8th letter of the alphabet, the Aleph Bet. And as Adon HaSelichot, the song that Ramon just led us in, as the song tells us, tonight the acrostic points us to the words Choker Kilayot, which is often translated as knower of inner thoughts, which gives us a foretaste of what the letter Chet has in store for us. Again, I refer back to Ramon, who is not only my dear friend, but a teacher and just a wonderful, wonderful human being. Ramon has translated Choker Kilayot as an examiner or discerner of consciousness. And I want to say that because I am a psychoanalyst, a psychotherapist, I have to share my own association to those words, which is the association to Yodea Talumot, meaning knower of secrets or knower of mysteries. And so we find the words Yodea Talumot at the end of Ana B'Koach, which many of us sing or chant in Kabbalat Shabbat, just before the Chadodi. And that last line goes, Shabbatenu kabel ushma tza'akatenu yodea ta'ulumot. Accept our entreaties, our pleas. Accept our pleas and hear our cry, knower of mysteries. But before diving into some of the mystical and spiritual learning about Chet, let's talk for a second about its pictorial history as an ot, as a letter or a symbol. Ramon, would you at this point share the screen, please? Great. So, first, you can see from the two representations that the modern Chet, the one on the top, has a rather flattened out roof or a top to it. But the Chet as written in the Torah has an upside down V, in this case, an upside down shape at the top. And in either case, this canopy connects two poles, one on either side of the letter. A mystical interpretation of the letter understands that Chet is the fusion of two other letters, Vav and Zayin. Vav on our right, representing a male figure, while Zayin on our left, representing the female figure. And connecting them from above is an arch, Chatoteret. And this arch represents a chuppah, or God. And parenthetically, we can also say that this arch can connect us from the first of Elul all the way through Yom HaKippurim, when this particular series of Selihot will end. And this is a point I've heard Ramon make many, many times now, how the arc or the arch connects all of us from the beginning of Elul through the final strains of Ne'ilah. Okay, let's stop the screen share. Thank you. Now, David Kerwin, who's an American who lives and works in Yerushalayim, and writing under the name of Balashon, tells us that there are two theories as to the etymology of the letter. One claims it's related to the Hebrew word chut, meaning a thread or a wire. And the word chayat, which is extremely close to the name of this letter itself, means a tailor in modern Hebrew. The second theory, which makes much more sense to me, is that the name of the letter comes from the word chayitz, chet yud tzadid sofit, meaning a fence or a partition or a barrier. The word chayitz derives from chutz, outside, which also gives us the word chitzon, which means external. Now we also find the root chet tzadi he, meaning to divide. And while he couldn't find a source that discusses it explicitly, Kerwin feels that chutz and the root chet tzadi he are likely closely related. A fence, chayitz, divides, chotze, and leaves something outside, chutz. From the root chet tzadi he, we get such words as chetzi, which means half, or chatzot, which means midnight. And from the related root chatzatz, which is chet tzadi, final tzadi, which is a primitive root meaning to chop or to sever, but which can also mean to divide or to make a partition, comes the word mechitza. But, as if that wasn't enough, in addition to looking like a fence, the ancient form of the letter also looks like a ladder, indicating the ability to go above and beyond limitations. If we scroll down a little bit to the next page, you'll see 4 versions of the chet: the early Hebrew, the middle, the late, and the modern Hebrew. And you'll see how the letter itself can be viewed as a fence, a partition, a ladder, until we get to its final resting place, its final destination, in modern Hebrew today. Okay, if we could stop that screen share again. Okay, so moving ever more heavenward, this word chuppah, which you'll remember is represented by the arch, which connects the two sides of the letter. The chuppah even begins with a chet. For the word chuppah, when you break it in half, when you break that word in half, it means chet po. The first half, chet, which is the amalgam of the two halves of the letter, the vav and the zayin, man and woman, that chet is God. The second half in chuppah, po, means here. God is here. Okay. So our chet is the heart of a marriage. And in Jewish mystical tradition, man and woman are only truly united when they are joined beneath chuppah with the third partner, God. Let me take a moment here to say that as a modern Jew, I understand and make allowances for the gendered understanding and interpretations that our ancient rabbis and our less ancient sages reveal to us. For me, what I take from this sort of wisdom is the idea that to make a marriage, it takes very different kinds of partners that stand under God's canopy. And it is precisely in those differences, in the differences between those partners, that we find the best expression of the divine. Okay. So at this point, we're going to move on and explore a few different ways of uncovering some more of the hidden meanings of our letter. No, we're not there yet. You could stop the share for a second. Thank you. So, like the modern science of DNA, the Zohar tells us that God looked into the letters of the Torah and created the universe. God looked into the letters and created the universe. Abraham ben Samuel, Shmuel Abulafia, one of the earliest Kabbalists living and writing in the second half of the 13th century. So from, let's say, he lived 1240, 1250 to almost 1300, he wrote, look at these holy letters with truth and belief. They will awaken the heart to thoughts of godly and prophetic images. The accent here is on the look at these holy letters. In the same way that the Zohar said, God looked into the letters. And if we move forward 3 centuries, the 16th century Rabbi Isaac Luria, the Ari, writing in Tzfat in the 16th century, he taught us that with the right inner focus, meaning kavanah, with the right kavanah, an individual could use the letters for tremendous spiritual development. And so he developed complex methods of visualization involving the letters. And then if we move forward a couple more centuries, a couple hundred more years, to the 18th, first half of the 18th century, Israel ben Eliezer, known as the Baal Shem Tov, strongly emphasized that every physical thing contains the 22 letters of the Aleph Bet, with which the world and everything in it are revealed. He also said that all things were created through combinations of the 22 Hebrew letters. So, from these 3 extremely brief descriptions I've just given, we get what we probably already know, that the letters are meant to be turned over and over, right? Phrase hafoch ba v'hafoch ba, which comes from Pirkei Avot, turning the letters over and over, the Torah, the information in the Torah, turning it over and over. And the letters are understood through the dual lenses of introspection and meditation. They're meant to be looked at from the inside, from the outside, and ultimately that the letters hold the keys, not only to a spiritual destination, but to a glimmer of all creation. Now, Het, corresponding to the number 8, Het represents transcendence. It's a level beyond nature and intellect. We can think of it this way. Everything in the world of time revolves around the number 7. 7 days of the week, the 7th year being a sabbatical year, the Shabbat. And Rabbi Michael Munk, in his book, The Wisdom in the Hebrew Alphabet, it tells us the following. Munk tells us the following thing. He says, the number 7 symbolizes the complete purpose of human existence. Such a beautiful phrase, right? The complete purpose of human existence, combining the spiritual level of Shabbat with the physical effort of the week. But going beyond 7, the number 8 symbolizes man's ability to transcend the limitations of physical existence. 8, Chet, marks a level that is beyond the natural order. So, with the gematria of 8, Chet stands for that which is on a plane above nature. It's the metaphysical divine. Before we stop, I want to share a few other ideas about Chet. Chet's also the letter of life, Chaim. And it can look like a doorway. The letter can look like a doorway. So why don't we take a moment and actually visualize, close your eyes if you want, and visualize the letter and see if you can find the doorway in Chet. Some people think that the important message that we learn from the letter is that the way we pass through the doorway to a good life, Chaim, is by instilling in ourselves and in our children good values, Chokhmah, wisdom, Chesed, loving kindness, and Chen, grace. Representing infinite possibilities, Chet contains everything that could come into being. It indicates the ability of the human to rise and go beyond nature. It's related to the neshama, the soul, and represents the power of choice, which is given by the soul, as well as the qualities of charm and grace, chen, which stem from the soul and its mysteries. Through Chet, we rise to the level of the soul and then return to worldly consciousness. Remember Choker Kelayot, discerner of consciousness? So I'd like to end with a song, or part of a song. It's a piyut written by the Turkish and Bulgarian Paitan Chaim Bejaranu, one that begins with the letter Chet, and which is so apt for this season of Bakashot and Selihot. The piyut is called Chadesh Kekedem Yamenu, and my wish for all of us is to have the words of the song come true in our time, to dwell in a land that knows the beauty and peaceful existence of the living presence of the divine. For me, if I clear away all the words of all the interpretations, of all the lectures, of all the teachings of this truly inspirational series that Ramon and all of his partners, Kolot, have put together, what I want to come away with is a sense of the letters, each and all of them, pining I want to come away with a sense that the letters are pining to open their secrets. Perhaps just one secret to each of us. And if this Kahila Kadosha could be open to the possibility that embedded in the letters are secrets worth knowing. As the Yiddish novelist Chaim wrote, while mourning the 1952 murder ordered by Stalin of 24 Jewish Russian intellectuals, Grada wrote, I weep for you with all the letters of the alphabet. May each of us have the zchut, the merit, to know the letters intimately, so that we might mourn together the loss of civility, community, and humanity that pulls us away from God and further away from the mysteries of God's presence. חדש כקדם ימינו, שוכן זהו לה. חדש כקדם ימינו, שוכן זהו לה. לשכון כבוד בארצנו, נאווה תהילה. לשכון כבוד בארצנו, נאווה תהילה. הגר ישמח ליבנו, נורא עלילה. והגר ישמח ליבנו, נורא עלילה. בתוך ציון היא קודשנו המהוללה. בתוך ציון היא קודשנו המהוללה. יללי תלי יללי, יללי תלי לשכון כבוד בארצנו, נאווה תהילה. Todayah kulam.
Kele mitzvot, may you have the opportunity of performing even more mitzvot that you have already. Take us all the way, as they say, mitzvah goreret mitzvah, and you create this nuclear reaction where your words and your inspiration allow us to take it to another place. And in this arch of Elul and taking us all the way to Rosh Hashanah with this tool called Zoom, we are able to at least capture some of that enormous beauty, that and profound inspiration that you are offering us in this great, with this great chen that you have, with this grace, right? So thank you from the bottom of my heart for allowing us to get to know you better through this incredible work. I just want to say they are in here. Irv Cohen says, very cool. Lealiza Lee says, thank you for wisdom and the sounds of my ancestors. And all of us say thank you for making it possible that we will continue in this path towards um, the accounting of our souls. And I want to say to everyone that we continue on with our Selihot on Sunday. We are taking a break for Shabbat. And Sunday, Rabbi David Greenstein, who David knows well, is going to be teaching us on, of course, letter Tet, the ninth letter of the alphabet. We also want to tell you, for those of you that don't know, that Shirat HaNefesh is committed this year into a particular topic that I think it's crucial to all of us at this time, is Shavat Aniyim Ata Tishma, the clamor of the poor you will hear. And with that, we're partnering with Jews United for Justice, an institution here in Maryland that holds more than 14,000 people, that works actively and at all times to make sure that our lives, and especially those that don't have who would help them sustain themselves, that they have a voice, that they have a place, and that our society here in Maryland, here in the US, and here in the world would actually continue ascending into a higher level of equality, of a brighter time where climate warming would actually be tackled as it deserves. With all that, I am still in awe of all your words, Michael, and in awe of your music and your beautiful voice. I invite everyone, I wish you a Shabbat Shalom u'Mevorach. May you have a blessed Shabbat, restoring Shabbat, and may you have the opportunity to come back, and so we continue together honoring the letters of the alphabet in this high, very, very, very enormous, inspirational time. Until then, I wish you Laila Tov, have a good night. May all be safe, well, and especially healthy. Good night.
Thank you so much.